Okay, today we're going to talk about writing equations of perpendicular bisectors. Please make sure that you take out a piece of loose leaf paper if you chose not to print out the notes. So, a quick review of writing an equation. If I want to write an equation of a line that is perpendicular to this given line, and it goes through this point. First thing, when I see perpendicular, I think negative reciprocal slope. So if I look at my slope here, it's 5. I'm going to take 5 over 1. I'm going to flip it and make it negative. So my slope is going to be negative 1/5. I know that the line goes through this point here, so that's my x1 and my y1. I'm going to write y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I know that my y1 value is 6. My slope is negative 1/5 because it's perpendicular, and my x value is 0, so I kind of don't even need that. So I can just leave it like that. So that becomes y minus 6 equals negative 1/5 x. That is an equation that is perpendicular to that given line and goes through the point 0, 6. Now we have to go through a little bit of vocabulary. Perpendicular to something means it forms a 90-degree angle, and the slopes are negative reciprocals. If we bisect something, that means we cut it in half. And the formula we learned early in the year is midpoint. It's in the middle. Okay, so that's important, the midpoint and our negative reciprocal slope. So if we want to write the equation of a line that is the perpendicular bisector of another line segment, it should say segment on there. First, we're going to find the slope. Then we're going to flip and negate it. We're going to get the negative reciprocal of that slope. We're going to find the midpoint of the line segment given to us. And then we're going to write the equation using the negative reciprocal slope and the midpoint. So if we look at the first equation or the first question, it says write an equation of a line that is the perpendicular bisector. So here I'm thinking negative reciprocal slope, and bisector means cut in half. So the first thing I need is my slope. So my slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If I plug in my values, negative 3 minus 7 over 5 minus negative 3. Negative 10 over 8, which is negative 5 over 4, if I reduce it. Now I want the negative reciprocal slope because it's perpendicular. So my slope is going to be this flipped and negated. So 4/5. That's my slope. Now, since it says bisector, I need to cut that in half. I need to find the midpoint. So x2 plus x1 over 2, y2 plus y1 over 2. So if I do 5 plus negative 3 over 2 and negative 3 plus 7 over 2, this becomes 2 over 2, which is 1. This becomes 4 over 2, which is 2. So the slope is 4/5. The midpoint is this. So when I write my equation, I start with y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. I'm going to plug in my slope and my midpoint. So y minus, the y value of the midpoint is 2. My slope is 4/5. And then the x value of that point is 1. This is the equation of the perpendicular bisector. For number 2, it says write the equation that is the perpendicular. So again, think negative reciprocal slope. And when you see the word bisector, think cut in half. So first thing, I need my slope. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is 4, y1 is negative 2. x2 is 8 minus negative 4. 4, this becomes 6. That becomes 12, so that is 1/2. Since it's perpendicular, it's the negative reciprocal, I'm going to flip this, and I'm going to make it negative since it was previously positive. So that is my slope. Now, since it says bisector over here, I need the midpoint. So my midpoint formula is x2 plus x1 over 2, y2 plus y1 over 2. I'm going to add my x's together. So 8 plus negative 4 over 2, and then 4 plus negative 2 over 2. If I do this in the calculator, again, don't forget, you need to put this in parentheses. That becomes 4 divided by 2, which is 2. And this one, put this in parentheses, that becomes 2 over 2, which is 1. So here's my point. Here's my slope. We write the equation of a line, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I'm going to plug in my y1 value from here, which is 1. My slope is negative 2, and my x1 value is 2 from over here. So this is my equation of the perpendicular bisector. Another one, write the equation of a line that is the perpendicular bisector. Perpendicular, get in the habit, think negative reciprocal slope. Bisector means cut in half. So first I need my slope, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. We're going to fill it in. Negative 6 minus 4 over 0 minus negative 4. That becomes negative 10 over 4. That becomes negative 5 over 2. We want negative reciprocal. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that, we're going to flip it to 5. And since it's already negative here, 2 negatives make a positive because it's always going to be the opposite sign. Now I'm thinking I need the cut in half is midpoint. So x2 plus x1 over 2, y2 plus y1 over 2. We're going to add the two x's. 0 plus negative 4 over 2, negative 6 plus 4 over 2. Again, if you're struggling there, you can write down, this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So if I use my calculator, 0 plus negative 4 is negative 4, divided by 2 is negative 2. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2, divided by 2 is negative 1. We're going to write the equation of a line. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I'm going to plug in what I know. My y value is negative 1. My slope is 2/5 from up here. My x1 value is negative 2. The last thing I'm going to do to neaten it up is make these positives. So now I have y plus 1 equals 2/5 x plus 2, and that is the equation of the perpendicular bisector. Last one, we want the perpendicular bisector, so this means negative reciprocal slope. Bisect means to cut in half. So first I'm going to find my slope. If I plug in my points, I have 13 minus 3 over 1 minus negative 3. This becomes 10 over 4. That reduces to 5 over 2 in your calculator, or divide both of them by 2. Because I want to be perpendicular, I'm going to take this slope and I'm going to flip it. Since it's positive, I'm going to make it negative because negative reciprocal. Now I'm also going to find the midpoint. So x2 plus x1, y2 plus y1. We're going to plug in what we know. So we've got 1 plus negative 3 over 2 and 13 plus 3 over 2. Again, if you like to use that calculator in one shot, put that in parentheses. 1 plus negative 3 is negative 2, divided by 2 is negative 1. Again, put that in parentheses if you're going to type the second one all in one shot. 13 plus 3 is 16, divided by 2 is 8. Write your equation of a line, y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. You're going to fill in your y value, 8, your slope, and your x1. The only thing I would finish up here, 2 negatives make a positive, so this answer would be y minus 8 equals negative 2/5 x plus 1. Again, if you have any questions, please make sure that you either write them down and ask me when you see me or email me.